We're doing a sequel. We're back by popular demand. But everybody knows that the sequel is never quite as good. Job Shuffle's back, and the rules are exactly the same. Spin the wheel, and job change after every single boss. But you gotta start somewhere. Bartz pummels the goblins to rescue Lena and Galoof. Then they flex in front of Ferris. She's completely awestruck, and commits to the cause. Monks ferociously fist for focus, then it's ascending the wind trying to fight the boss. Wing Raptor's wings are quickly ripped off and he's suplexed into next week thanks to some focused attacks. The wind crystal comes pre-busted, so I'm out of here. Except I accidentally said yes to the job tutorial, so that's a prime chance to spin the wheel. Mystic Knights are locked in, also focused, thanks to focus. Off to Tool to collect the canal key from Zuck! One day I'll figure out where he's hidden it. Shopping for spells and getting equipped up with swords and shields. Now to enter Misogyny Canal. Casually, this is a little bit of foreshadowing for Ferris's reveal, but Mystic Knight does not leave a whole lot to the imagination. Spellblade's a solid secondary since most jobs can rock a dagger. I hunkered down to fight through the hordes of 8-legged enemies for a couple of ranks of Spellblade. Oh right, you get Magic Shell first. This might take a little longer than I thought. I got what I came for, then I moved forward into the funnel and knocked out the plug. Carlibos ascends from the depths. Setting up Thunder Spellblade, 3 focused attacks later, Carlibos is Carla crushed. Sildra's flushed, and while I drift slowly towards the ship graveyard, I can spin the wheel to kill some time. Great! I get to be a blue mage after all of the early game blue magic is completely dried up. At least I get to keep all of my Mystic Knight gear. Focus and Spellblade are both usable. I opted for Focus fighting through the fleet until I reached the sneaky Siren though. Spellblade would have been cool, but Focus helps negate a ton of human Siren's armor. Once Siren swaps to undead form, the classics never go out of style. It's offensively chucking potions again, baby. Siren swaps, so my strategy swaps too. Focused attacks on human form, offensive potions in undead form, and defensive potions when necessary, which is after every single Venom clasp. Sleep and Slow were annoying, but Siren's never really that hard. Free from the haunted ship graveyard, the wheel returns, like a spooky ghost back from the dead. Ooh! That's never getting mastered. Mime has no stats, but uniquely 3 ability slots, which is exactly enough for Focus, Spellblade, and Item. Who needs the attack command when you have Focus? Mimes are focused in on the task at hand, which is running down to Carwin for a shopping spree. Daggers with new armor and shields, along with sleep and silent spells. Don't forget that Frost Rod too. The North Mountain calls, and I answer. Exactly like when the boys show up to play Peak. Last time I said Focus flailing would be funny, but daggers are just straight up better. Especially with Spellblade. And I will get some real value out of Spellblade on the known off-screen dark shooter, Magisa. I'm spelling up with silence to lock Magisa down completely. Ignore that first fire, and that thunder that exploded Lena, and also that arrow on Ghost Galoof. Finally, a focused Silence Blade lands. Unfortunately, I don't get long to enjoy it since here's Forza. I chose to keep focusing down Magisa with Silence Blade. Afterwards, I swapped to Sleep Blade while Forza threw my mimes around like ragdolls. Ferris connected sleep while Galoof ran interference. Now, Forza's taking a nap. I played this super safe and fully healed my 2 survivors, then went back to focus. Synchronized Sleep Spellblade keeps Forza snoozing, and then I spin the wheel. I stealthily rescued the Windrake and headed south. Ninjas have some very solid abilities, so I spent some time blade busting up the enemies outside of walls. With smoke and image acquired, it's time to use my ninja reconnaissance skills to inform King Waltz about the incoming Meteor. He's running off to check it out, and I use that opportunity to steal the elf cape from the basement, all thanks to Smoke. Smoke continues to be incredibly convenient to ascend the Waltz Tower, and the rest of the game. You know, playing Final Fantasy V without Smoke or Flea really sucks. Just like Garula sucks at killing me, since I'm blinking up with image in the back row. Except for Bartz. He's the dedicated damage dealer with front row focus. The back row ninjas are soaking physicals with blink, throwing broadswords and keeping Bartz alive with potions. Oh, look at that! This fight went exactly the way I predicted it would go as ninjas only in the "What if you unlocked all jobs at the start in Final Fantasy V" video to follow up all of those SJCs. Fun fact, but Garula hard filtered me when I first played Final Fantasy V. Now, he's the one consistently getting filtered. The water crystal gets blowed up, and I'm breaking out the wheel. Monks are kicking it easy right up until I get to Karnak. Apparently it's illegal to be hoarding this much heft. Thankfully Sid knows what's up, and convinces the Chancellor to let us out while I flex on him in the background. No time like the present to grind by kicking numerous knacks to near extinction. I powered up to level 19 here, and bought everything relevant in Karnak. What took so long? Sid, building a body takes time. Experiencing extreme deja vu. I did the minor detour for the Moonring Blade, then it's off to the engine room. Queen Karnak slipped and dropped all the oil, which ignites into liquid flame. I'm on the Game Boy Advance, so I'm using the tried and true strategy of running liquid flame out of MP in tornado form. Monk's natural heft helped in tanking counters because it took liquid flame like 6 hits to change into the right form. Now I just gotta get everyone back to full health with potions and wait out the MP. Focus is an ability that's really easy to overlook. It does 2 times damage after a charge timer, which sounds kinda useless, but it's really good against bosses with high armor, or consistently counter you. But it looks like I could have just knocked Liquid Flame's block off easily. It died in 5 focused attacks. Queen Karnak says, "Come on down and spin that wheel." Dragoon. We're Drakengarding our way through Karnak Castle's escape sequence, murdering everything with our bare fists, baby. God, Kaim is so cool. He wants everything dead. Even the dragons like, bro, chill out. Dragooners grab the gauche and elf cape while trying to avoid slipping in the puddles of blood everywhere. I even got a couple of the other chests, but that timer's ticking down fast. Boss fight time, he said laughing. Putting down 2 of 3 knacks, then I'm gonna break the sergeant's jaw. Always love avoiding Iron Claw. And I love avoiding having to really use Dragoon. Its job is done, in more ways than one. Hey, that rhymed. Ranger without a bow. I guess big fisting continues down in the ancient library. But let's not forget about the value of the aim command. My punches will never miss their mark. Ranger's Animals is 15 ability points. Calling out Nightingale is the only real healing I'm gonna have since potions are just not gonna cut it anymore. I fought 15 battles to learn Animals, then hidden inside the library, conveniently leveling up to level 20 in the process. Why do I constantly subject myself to dying to level 5 death? It happens all the time. But I have smoke, so I dodged it. Now to face off against the burning book-based boss, Ifrit. The party split down the middle. The boys have scopes on their fist with bare-handed aiming. Those Tycoon sisters are spamming Animals like it's going out of style. As long as Nightingale keeps showing up after Ifrit throws down blazes or fire 2s, this should be a breeze. And yeah, it was. Thank you, animal friends. Wheel spin. Low rolling a dancer was bound to happen at least once. Good thing I grabbed that ribbon. My strategy is set in stone as I bungle down to the basement for the boss in the book, Byblos. The girls are spamming Animals looking for Nightingale, but the boys are dancing up a storm with Fire a Spellblade. Okay, it's only regular Fire Spellblade. Should have really just bare-fisted it. Bartz is throwing down a basic attack for 500 damage, but there's Protect. Dance it is, Byblos. The Tycoon sisters are chain casting Nightingale. I must be at the optimum level for animal advocacy. Shocking everyone. Bart's back-to-back sword dance for over 1,000 damage each. That's through Protect. Squirrels! Then Drain counters are whiffing like crazy. Byblos is busted up with Bart's third buffed sword dance. This chapter on Dancer is now closed. Get it? Because we're like in a library. Sandworm's about to have a really bad time. But first, I gotta take mid back to Sid so they can fix up the fire ship. Little do they know I'm just gonna sink it at Crescent Island. Now get back here, you little purple-wrapped scallion! I arrived back at the ancient library just as Sid and Mid finished reading God Emperor of Dune. They don't want to read the rest of the series. And for good reason. They reluctantly set up the Thumper anyways. Perfectly on brand, Lena's water elemental attack drowns the sandworm, killing it instantly. That was after like 3 combat rounds of whiffs, but who's counting? Couldn't possibly be me. You missed your shot by exactly 1 boss, Berserker. I'm chuffed to have a bare-handed Berserker to punch my way through the desert. King Tycoon, you better stop running if you know what's good for ya. Those tricky trappers. Button status pulled. Now I'm taking that airship so I can break Crayclaw's shell off for that juicy, buttery meat inside. Sometimes I wonder why that guy's even a boss. Oh, it must be so I can spin the wheel again. That's a job pull, alright. Business first. I raised the Ronka Ruins, then I got the Adamantite Deets from Sid and Mid. Pleasure next, which is spamming Flame Rod boosted Ifrit at Black Flame Island. 1 cast is all it takes to kill everything. So while I endlessly spam Ifrit to level up, Why not like the video and subscribe to the channel? You could even join the Patreon or as a channel member right here on YouTube. You'll get access to exclusive Premium Buster videos. Spoiler alert, but I'm doing another one of these for Premium in the very near future. A special thank you to all of my blessed Buster boys. Let's see how far I took this Black Flame grind. I leveled to level 27, and got Summon Magic to level 5. Yeah, that should be good for the playthrough. God, Black Flame grinding is so good in Final Fantasy V. Returning to task, the Adamantoise is getting cooked with Ifrit. Just kidding, summoners are summoning up their animal friends. Nightingale keeps my party healed, and Adamantoise is worn down by squirrels and bees. Shockingly, they're basically doing the same damage as Ifrit since Adamantoise has an 8 shell. Thank you once again, animal friends. I won't forget you. Just like I won't forget to spin the wheel. That feels illegal, but the wheel's will is absolute. I've got no tricks or gimmicks for the soul cannon. I could get Rameau, but it would force a job change. Sometimes the old ways are best. Good old-fashioned Thunder Rod smashing courtesy of Karnak. 2 Thunder Rods for each of the side batteries to draw out the girth of the soul cannon itself. 1 Thunder Rod blows away the side launchers, which was not fast enough to avoid ult, but it's fine. Nearly 4,000 damage per Thunder Rod smash, and the soul cannon's done in a few combat rounds. I could deal with this. Let's just do a brief detour to Jack Hole. Coral Swords, which are Thunder Elemental. Better get some Mage Mashers too, just in case. I also bought new armor and stocked up on consumes before ascending to the Wonky Ronky Ruins. Sword swinging slices up the competition. And I got a rare Dark Bow drop. Cool. Never gonna use that unless the stars align. Into the super secret treasure room for the Ancient Sword and Power Armlet. God, why can so few jobs actually equip the Power Armlet, man? My animal companions kept me sustained all the way to King Tycoon, who 6 Serpent on me. No, not like that. Spellblade's no good on Archeoavis since he just rotates his magic resistance. So the boys are back to bare fisting, and the Tycoon sisters are continuing their known character traits of loving animals. Bare fist and animals are clearly more than adequate for crushing the First World. I blitzed through all of Archeoavis' forms with punches, and Nightingale kept me sustained through the whole endeavor. After Archeoavis falls, King Tycoon rushes over to the Earth Crystal, but I got a job change real quick. Okay, I could go back inside and get Arrow too. Nah. Cryo Meteor smashes her way into the ruins, throwing a brick right at King Tycoon's head in the process. Also, she just deleted Galoof's amnesia instantly. Completely unprompted, X-Death explodes out of the Earth Crystal, throwing a crystal shard directly into King Tycoon's brain. Guess that's why there's only 4 Earth Crystal jobs. This has been a real doozy of a day. Galoof takes the opportunity to stealthily skedaddle back to his world. With the airship, I have many options for learning blue magic. I will simply choose not to engage with any of them. I'd have to actually master blue mage to use it. It's a whole thing, and you know what? I just can't be bothered. We're going on the world tour. Okay, I incidentally learned Goblin Punch on the way out of Tycoon Meteor. The bomb squad at Waltz is here. Maybe I'll learn Exploder. Everyone sat there spamming animals until, yeah, I learned Exploder. The rest of the bomb squad was taking too long, so I smashed a couple of Thunder Rods. Then a few more. Offsetting the bomb squad is always such an obnoxious experience. After many combat rounds, I ended up with a single bomb, and then I just waited for a self-destruct. That's likely the last time I see Blue Mage, so I'm spinning the wheel. Okay, I could go back and get Red Magic level 3 at Black Flame Island. Having access to Cura would be really helpful. Last playthrough proved that. But let's just keep going. I went straight to Karnak Meteor to take on Titan. Gotta get while the getting's good, so I threw down Party-Wide Protect, and I spammed animals. Squirrels are continuing to do surprisingly well. Cura and Nightingale kept me alive through Earthshaker as squirrels tore Titan to shreds. New Meteor, new job. Back to the Animal Master himself. Better get some bows at Crescent. Oh, right! I have the Dark Bow that dropped, and I'm gonna use it. The Chimera brain at Gone's brain sucking days are numbered. Bartz has taken aim with the Dark Bow, while the Tycoon sisters continue their princess-based animal powers. They just keep pulling out Nightingale at exactly the right time. Alright, the Dark Bow sucks. Everyone get on the animals train. Chimera brains shredded by the Friends of the Forest, and I get the last job of Bartz's world. I have assimilated the Chimera brains into myself, becoming the smartest and most useless job. I predict throwing myself into the Meteor Convergence portal and condemning the abductor to death, only to be imprisoned anyways. Galoof uses his newfound clairvoyance to find out how to get into X-Death's castle. then using that information to actually get inside the castle. Gilgamesh, don't make me laugh. You're condemned to death, idiot. And thank God, because I get a real job now. I can already see it coming. Necromancer's abilities are non-transferable, so I'm racing over to the big bridge, where I just now realized that animals is not going to help me since Necromancers are undead. Its Killer Be Killed and Flame Rod boosted Ifrit is fast and efficient. Gilgamesh jumps out from behind the door and attacks. I torched Gilgamesh into phase 2 quickly, only suffering minor damage. All bets are off now. He's buffing up with Haste, Shell, and Protect, and Yoompen. Flame Rod smashing is coming in hot. Shell really is insane in this game. I can't even break 1,000 damage with a Rod Smash on Necromancer. Despite Shell, I smashed enough rods fast enough to blow up Gilgamesh before getting flattened by Dragoon-esque jumps. Now, I'm jumping at the chance to spin that wheel. Ranger, it's my destiny to summon up my animal friends, I guess. These squirrels return with a vengeance to devour any and all resistance across the big bridge. Then, like an arrow, I'm shot across the world to Glosiana. Shooting and summoning up my animal friends gets me safely to Regol. High potions are on the table now, and that makes Nightingale a lot less necessary. Especially because Gaia gear is buyable, and coincidentally, I have Titan on demand. Summoning up greased up strongmen is gonna have to wait, because I'm smoking my way over to the forest. Mr. Moogle ran because he doesn't realize I am a friend to all animals. Smoking continues through the underwater caves. The bone Tyrannosaur at the end is conquered by a single Phoenix down. Dinosaurs had their chance. My reward for upholding Darwinism is a spin of the wheel. Red mages are just past their prime, but they still got some juice left in them. Not that they're gonna get a whole lot of use at all, since I'm avoiding the desert to get to the Moogle village. After snatching up the Dancing Dagger and Elf Cape, the Moogles are summoning Krile with Moogle telepathy. Inside Ball Castle, red mages are ready and willing to cast Cure on the Windrake, except Krile read the script and it says I have to go to Drakenvale instead. So I left the castle, but what's that? Boss music? Abductors are getting roasted with Fyra and Ifrit. This time, I will actually spin the wheel. Freelancer, I'm just gonna make myself a pseudo-summoner. And once again, you always gotta get that ribbon from Karnak. Flame rods and Gaia gear with summon magic and animals, of course. What other ability would I take? Oh right, Ferris, the speediest one, gets smoke. Into the werewolf town of Kelb. Kelgar wants to fight. The future is now, old man. Kelgar tries to tell me about the Dawn Warriors, but I smoke ball on my way to Drakenvale. The call of the mountain is absolute. Gaia gear boosted Titan is shockingly good, except against flying enemies. Fortunately, Fire Rod Ifrit is still relevant on those. And all of the undead dragons too. Not to mention, the bees! I embodied the treasure goblin and looted everything in sight. Truly, the most important treasure is the friends that we made along the way. I rescued Golem by throwing high potions aggressively at the zombie and bone dragon. I also made sure to keep Golem healthy with high potions too. Took me way too long to figure that one out in my adult life. Rock and roll, buddy. I've set the precedent that all summons are boss fights, so my time with Freelancer has come to an end. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. Lena and Ferris tried to snatch the grass, but it's carnivorous. Let's just move you two slightly further away. The counter to all carnivorous plants. Time to get some real value out of Golem. Earthwall will block hits from the dragon flowers, and that should negate all of their nasty side effects. At least it would've if Gaia Gear Titan wasn't stomping around all over the place. I just waited for the Dragon Pod to spawn more flowers, then immediately dropped a Titan, clearing everything out. Wash, rinse, repeat. Dragon Pod didn't stand a chance. Night is totally acceptable. I put on smoke and cheesed it down the mountain. I snuck through Kelb, but heard Kelgar still talking about the Dawn Warriors. Dude, let it go, that was like 20 years ago. Back at Ball, I'm slinking through the sewers for the Greatsword, then heading up to heal the Windrake, which I used to fly to Sage Gidito's cave, but Titan stomped on it and it sunk. Oh well. What's Surgate Castle got in store? Better load up my knights with new gear for the single fight they actually have to do. Along with some more consumables, of course, and the obvious speed song and float from the back rooms. Spooky. The Great Fleet of Surgate, captained by none other than Zeza of the Dawn Warriors. But I already know how this story goes, so let me just phone up Gilgamesh real quick. 2 gobbledygooks later, and there he is, ready to do glorious battle. I summon Golem, then Titan. Afterwards, I just do a round of basic attacks. There's Enkidu throwing down White Wind, resetting the battle. and Enkidu's in the back row, and flying. Alright, let's work down the list. Swords are weak because of the back row. Titan doesn't connect because he's flying. Ifrit it is. Spamming Ifrit is not the fastest or most elegant way to win this fight, but these two bozos are mostly non-threatening debuffers anyways. Once Enkidu's gone, Titan and sword swinging takes down Gilgamesh easily, and I'm just as easily swapping to the next job. White Mage with sub-summon magic it is. And speaking of subs, I'm inside one to enter the barrier tower. Just gonna mosey on up to the top spamming Titan. Oh, a reflect ring on the very first kill. Nice. Unfortunately, a bunch of the enemies in the barrier tower either absorb earth or are flying, so Ifrit is still getting pulled out constantly. Climbing up, I got another reflect ring, and a third one. My god, man, I'm not even at the save point yet, and I'm not even gonna need them anyways. Summon magic is costly, so I'm grabbing the gold hairpin for that sweet, sweet half MP costs. 3 titans is all it took to snatch that hairpin right out of the red dragon's clutches. I have 3 reflect rings, I may as well go for number 4. Besides, white magic is simply too good. Running back and forth by the save point and ripping Ifrit because of all those flying enemies. It took another half hour, but I got number 4. Will I use these reflect rings? Only time will tell. Let's blow this taco stand. Atmos descends from the heavens, but he's definitely grounded. Sounds like a job for our old friend, greased up Ricardo. I mean Titan. Gaia Gear boosted Titan destroys Atmos with ease. Lena was only partially sucked over. It's really not even worth discussing. Titan has crushed the antenna, which apparently got Zeza stuck. While he's busy getting blowed up, I'm pulling out the wheel to change my job. Or not. I'm not complaining. Submarining to Sage Gidito's cave, and I'm smoking past every single encounter. I can't get out of there fast enough. I got the Guardian branch, and I'm sailing over to Moor. A second round of grabbing the gauche, and I'm loading up with tier 3 white magic, and the rest of the spells that I never bought. New armor 2 and air knives. Those are gonna come in handy later. White mages continue to smoke their way through the forest. I know that I'm gonna need that Morning Star. Maybe Smokey the Bear was right all along. The forest ablaze, so I grabbed the Aegis shield and then waited it out with my Moogle buddies. Entering the first tree ever, which is now charred to a crisp. Sorry. As punishment, I'm accosted by the crystals of Galoof's world. Buffs ahoy! Protect, shell, and rock and rollin' with Golem. Titan is my strongest option, but the Earth Crystal will absorb him. The Fire Crystal has some weird resistances too, so this might be... Oh, okay then. In the back row with Protect and Shell up, I'm able to survive 4 back-to-back magic spells. Just barely. Galoof and Farah survived with like 50 HP. Ricardo came out to slam all the crystals to death. Only the Earth Crystal remains. A single Curaga fixes that minor HP problem. After revives and rebuffing, it's just a matter of dealing with the Earth Crystal, without the Rage of the Earth. I'm thinking Berserker Bards with the Morning Star? Titan's tagging out to Ifrit on everyone else. 300 damage isn't that impressive, but it's good enough for non-Morning Star mages. The Earth Crystal enters critical HP, and Earthshaker comes out. Oh man, is that what I've been doing to people this whole time? With Shell up, I just have to occasionally cure, and this fight's in the bag. But before I can spin the wheel, Exdeath comes in to spin Krile. Galoof doesn't like no rule breakers, so he's giving Exdeath the business. By summoning Titan, like a lot. Despite giving it the old college try, Galoof is kill, and Krile's forced into the party. I'm gonna let her spin the wheel this time. I have intentionally refused to master any job, so I'm back to baseline stats. Except I'm throwing on summon and white magic, so I have supreme magic power. Item 2, those are pretty good. Krile asks Galoof to ask Kelgar to sacrifice himself so he can enter the castle. Kelgar's just rambling about the Dawn Warriors, so Galoof drags him off to sacrifice him anyways. The trend of spamming summons continues. Mime 1 summons, Mimes 2, 3, and 4 mimic it for better MP efficiency. Oh yeah, Mimes can use shields too. Get that ice shield in here. Alright, miming summons is fun, but I'm fed up with battles. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. I am a summon master, so I could get Carbuncle. But you know what? Outside of like 3 battles, Reflect is basically useless in Final Fantasy V. I already have 4 Reflect Rings too, so no thanks, bro. However, I will not be skipping Gilgamesh this time around. Not that he's gonna be a hard fight. Ricardo comes back in to take care of business. Afterwards, Exdeath sweeps up the trash, and I get to spin the wheel. I'm so close to the top, but I guess I'll just go all the way back down to the bottom to actually learn some blue magic. It's fine. It's fine. Magic dragons on the lower floors have both level 2 old and Aeroga. These are actually the perfect solutions to X-Death. I got both of them in a single battle. You'll love to see it. Loaded up with blue, I'm subbing white magic and giving X-Death the business after climbing the entire tower again. Oh, classic Doom opener. Those are some nice levels there, X-Death. Would be a real shame if something happened to him. Vacuum Wave connected on Ferris. She's my singular summoner. She's throwing down Golem to stop that nonsense from happening ever again. Setting up Shell, then the Aerogas are coming out. Air Knife boosted Aeroga is some serious damage. All I had to do to win was spam Aeroga and cast Krile if I ever needed it. It was barely a challenge to blow X-Death away, along with my entire party, straight back to Bards' world. The party swapped and I'm heading into Tycoon Castle. What are Lena and Ferris's tax policies anyways? X-Death's gone, so the monsters are gone too. It's a casual stroll over to Boko, and I'm riding him over to Tool. But the antlion attacks. Big jump. Discord, Discord, Discord. One day I'll win this fight by jumping. Really should have just kept spamming summons, but it's all over now. My Dragoon gets one final jump to get out of that hole. Oh look, Ferris is here, and she brought the wheel! Cozy moseying continues to Sage Gidito's cave. Oh my god, X-Death wasn't even dead, bro, it was just a trick. After that bombshell, it's time for a strategy meeting at the library. But I think I got this one unlocked, Gidito. Mystic Knights sandwalk their way over to Moore for the chicken knife. It's the logical choice in this job shuffle kerfuffle challenge. Into the Pyramid of Moore, featuring the Gargoyle Guardians. May as well get some value out of Spellblade. Sleep Sword puts the gargoyles to bed. Now that they're napping, Ricardo's gonna stomp them all to death, which leads to a celebratory spinning of the wheel. If you guessed I'd be smoking my way through the pyramid, you'd be 100% correct. However, I still want some of the rarer treasures, so I'm still stomping around with Titan. Fire Rod Ifrit is also pretty decent since almost everything here is undead, and the undead fear fire. I got the ice and fire shields along with the second ribbon and another gold hairpin. Don't forget that tablet too. It's essential to success, also you have to grab it. But I don't really have a great strategy for Melusine. Flame Rod Ifrit's damage has been surprising, but it won't be enough to kill her outright. She's gonna barrier shaft. I could try smashing flame rods, but I don't think I have enough to actually beat her. What am I gonna do? Think, Wes. Think! If you guessed spamming smoke to power up the chicken knife, you'd be 100% correct. Unfortunately. With a maxed out chicken knife, I'm into the forest to actually fight Melusine, which features the triumphant return of the focus ability. When your enemy has immense physical defense, getting double attack power means you get some barrier penetrating power. That's exactly what we want from Melusine. Or, you know, I could have just like bought a poison axe from Surgate Castle. But you know what else has the axe formula? That's right, it's the Morning Star. Go get him, Ferris. With elemental shields, Shell, and Kiraga, I basically can't lose to Melusine's magical mastery. This is just a matter of Bartz and Ferris focusing to slowly whittle Melusine down through her insane physical defense. Eventually, Melusine is carved up, and all it took was running from enemies in the desert for over an hour. Lena's back in the party, and we're pulling out the wheel to celebrate. I become the captain, just as I get my airship back. It's like poetry. X-Death slurps up the world, and now I can go wherever I want, except the places he slurped up. Let's start with the standard merged world setup, flying left to Regol for a ribbon, just in case. Now back to Boko for the always relevant magical lamp from Mystery Falls. On the return trip, I stopped by Kuza to drop off the tablet and collect my 3 legendary weapons. Last time I wasn't really thinking, but my noggin's been jogging. I know that the single worst pull in this challenge is Berserker. It only makes sense to get the Rune Axe this time around. The Assassin's Dagger and Magus Rod are still totally fine general purpose picks. Since I have Summon, I may as well get the strongest summon right now. No, it's not Bahamut. Back in the Pirate's Cove, the spirit of Sildra joins the party. It's all coming together, and I didn't even need to beat a boss. Southbound Phantom and snatching up Bingus once again, all so I can fly to the North Desert. I have both my preferred grinding location and grinding method unlocked. Air Knife boosted Sildra with the gold hairpins on Krile and Ferris, the fastest party members. A single casting of Sildra clears out all of the enemies. No need to do weird targeting tricks either. This is straight button mashing. The goal is 200,000 gil for 4 pairs of Hermes sandals. I'll need a little bit more for endgame armor too, and of course some consumables. Every single level accumulated in that time is just gravy, baby. Optional content? More like smoptional slop-tent. I'm hurling myself into the rift at level 44. I'm smoking my way past everything. I've had enough of grinding in random battles. The horrors of the Rift are honestly some of the single most overhyped bosses in this game. I went ahead and plundered all of the chests while I worked through the factory and forest. Then I set out to fight the big blue woman and wannabe bull master, Kerfuffle. Not that I really needed much setup at all. I just spammed open fire. Then I'll show you who's the master of the bulls. It was me. But what job will I be the master of next? Good thing I grabbed the Gaia hammer and the pyramid. Good thing I chose the rune axe. Good thing I maxed out the chicken knife. Surprisingly, I have 0 passive abilities for Berserker, so Berserker with white magic it is. Berserkers are not great, so it's shamefully time to walk my sorry butt out of the rift. Wait, hold on. That damage is like actually really good? I bet I can beat the Apanda like this. Hey, there's no harm in trying. Berserkers getting through the caves was painless. Inside the library, he's gotta be around here somewhere. Oh no. Ah yeah, that damage is solid. Slow? Immune thanks to Hermes' sandals. Confuse? I'm immune thanks to berserking. Apanda didn't even protect counter for half the fight. He preferred 500 damage drains. Apanda protected himself eventually, but by that time, he was already dead. Time to swap. Or not? Hey, may as well try against Azomagia too, right? The sky has no problem, especially when my chicken knife understood the assignment and keeps fleeing. But you know, real combat's fine too. Inside the Dimension Castle, I headed left for the Thor's Hammer. This is a direct upgrade to the Gaia Hammer, and you know what? It's back row? Okay, baby. Azomagia, I am the Warriors of the Crystal, and I got your number. Or maybe he has my numbers. He nailed me with level 2 old, uh-oh. And level 4 Graviga? Note to self, prime number levels next time around. Flash 2? Come on, man. My Berserkers have dealt a lot of damage, but they're quickly being debilitated beyond belief. I wish it was fiction, but it's a fact. I'm down to 200 damage a hit, and White Wind healed Azomagia for over 3,000. I'm just gonna chalk that one up to the worst possible luck. As Berserkers, you never give up and you never surrender, so I played it out. Mighty Guard destroyed any hope of a victory. Question mark, question mark, question mark destroyed Bards with maximum damage, and Ferris got finished off with a lowly era. I'm confident I can win. Just gotta run it back, baby. Another level 2 ult right out the gate. Everything else Azomagia threw at me whiffed though. I ended up with some huge hits and I chopped Azomagia up. That first fight really was just bad luck. But what does the wheel have to say about bad luck this time? 3 back-to-back 1 in 26 chances. What are the odds? For me, it's 100%. The Berserker train has no brakes because Catastrophe is like right there, man. Berserkers have enough health to easily survive Earthshaker, and despite axes whiffing constantly, I crushed Catastrophe. Surely we couldn't possibly go 4 back-to-back. Going all the way back for Arago was totally worth it in Excess Castle. The mysterious man in the domino mask gets an anonymous kiss in the throne room, but it was a trick! Halicarnassus opens up with Ribbit. I counter with 4 Maiden's Kisses as usual. Now it's just hasted Aeroga spam all the way to the end. Another wheel spin to go, please. Except it doesn't even matter! The strategy for Twintania is 4 Reflect Rings on and spamming Soldier with Air Knives. And I can do that with anything. Almost anything. Yeah, game, pick one of the 3 jobs that can't boost Soldier with an Air Knife. The Twintania strategy still works though, it's just slightly worse. You summon up Sildra, which Twintania counters with Mega Flare that gets reflected onto himself thanks to Reflect Rings. Twintania did more damage to himself than I did, and despite monkeying around, Twintania died before even dreaming of a Giga Flare. But what job will the wheel dream up for me next? The perfect job to crush Exdeath clearly. Except I fought Gilgamesh in the castle, so Mime's White Summon and Smoke combo is short-lived. Gilgamesh feels the thunder, and I'm pulling out the wheel again. How fitting, the samurai man Gilgamesh would bestow his samurai powers onto me for telling him the way out of the rift. Samurai are smoking their way through the crystal dimension to face off against Necrophobe. Ha, just kidding. I'm letting Gilgamesh escape the rift, unexploded. Maybe Gilgamesh and Bartz really will go on an excellent adventure together. Setting up for Exdeath is 3 Summon Samurai with 1 White Magic Samurai. White Magic is simply too good to ignore. Len is acting as my White Mage with the ultimate defensive setup with the Aegis Shield and main gauche. Everybody else is a Sildra spamming Air Knife user abuser. Exdeath's not gonna know what hit him. Well, actually he will, because it's going to happen 3 times around. Lena's setting up Shell on the party, and everyone else is ripping Sildra right out the gate. Except Krile is going to throw down a Golem first, and immediately get punished for it with a White Hole. Party-wide shell's the priority since it can make White Hole whiff. Krile can stay a statue for a minute. I'd love to fire up the Zeny cannon, but I'm flat broke. I spent all of my money before the rift, and I only fought a handful of battles as Berserker thanks to the chicken knife. Krile really can't catch a break in this fight, and neither can my MP since samurai aren't allowed to wear the gold hairpins. I'm ripping elixirs early. I got a bunch, and I can't take them with me. I ripped through the first 2 charges of the magic lamp too, and after a few more Sildras, Tree Extet's fallen over, only to reveal he was actually the amalgam of 100 guys, which is dropping to 99 guys because he's looting one of those parts of the lamp's Xantet Soken. Lena's job is to maintain buffs and heal while everyone else continues spamming Sildra. Lena even got to throw a Sildra of her own out thanks to the lamp. Listen, I got shields, Golem, Protect in the back row with Shiradori. That big beefy dude in the front is in tears with how neutered he is. I'm never gonna get hit with a vacuum wave. Almagust, on the other hand, is easily survived thanks to Shell, and a single Kiraga corrects any damage. Grand Cross? Well, that doesn't even matter because I didn't see a single one. Air Knife Sildra is super disgusting. 55,000 HP torn through all parts in no time at all. That's Final Fantasy V's Job Shuffle Kerfuffle Challenge number 2 in the bag. I told you that the sequel's never quite as good. Job Shuffle Kerfuffle 2 Electric Boogaloo was completed in 8 hours, 48 minutes, and 17 seconds. Same ballpark as last time. If you get Summon Magic, you kinda just win the game. That shouldn't be much of a surprise if you're up to date on the channel lore. Thunder Rod Remuh is my go-to, but apparently Flame Rod Ifrit has the exact same potential power grinding power on Black Flames. Spamming Sildra was always going to be my go-to. Air Knife Sildra is roughly the same power as Bahamut, and it costs a lot less MP. It really is the go-to strategy for Summoner. In this playthrough, I also rolled into White Mage again. You know, honestly, it's more likely than you think. Each job has a 1 in 26 chance of showing up, but there are a lot of bosses, and you're shuffling constantly in this challenge. There are 17 mandatory bosses in Bartz's world, with Ramuh and Shiva as optionals. Galoof's world has 9 mandatory bosses and 5 optionals, with Golem, Shote, Carbuncle, Gilgamesh, and the mighty Gill Turtle. Finally, the merged world with the Rift has a lot of bosses, and most of them are optional outside of Antlion, Gargoyles 1, Melusine, and the Rift bosses. The reality is the likelihood you roll into a win condition is very high in this challenge. Even if you somehow got like nothing good. Well, you know, I've beaten all of the single job challenges, so I would have figured something out. Let's not forget our unsung heroes, our animal friends. The Animals command, and specifically Nightingale, is very powerful early on. Being a randomized job command kind of sucks, but when you have no other healing options, fishing for Nightingales is totally viable, and dare I say it, surprisingly decent. The only real wrinkle here was the Berserker Blitz down in the Interdimensional Rift. I was fully prepared to walk out of the Rift in shame. Turns out Berserkers are pretty strong, even at level 42-ish. Friendly reminder, break glass for Rune Axe in case of Berserker. Other than that, this was just the Sildra show with a couple of brief moments of other job abilities to shine. Thanks for watching Backlog Buster with a special bonus thank you to all of my blessed Buster boys. You'll get a 3rd job shuffle soon. I'll see the rest of yous in the next video.